On today's Into Your Head temporarily daily Christmas show for Tuesday, how to deal with your brain over the festive period, and lots more. Lot to get on with today. Items that need to be attended to, issues that need to be addressed, topics. Oh, topics. We've got lots and lots of topics. We're positively booming to the seams with topics. We've got topics coming out of this brain, this poor fucking brain that's being banjaxed over Christmas. I had all sorts of crap poured into it. I've had crap poured into my brain, not directly. I've had crap poured into my mouth, and it wasn't crap in the sense of being crap, as in feces. Don't worry, nobody's been pouring feces into my brain, either directly or indirectly, which leads me to wonder why I say I've had crap poured into my brain all Christmas. I have not. Although I haven't been nutritionalizing my brain very well, but that's normal for Christmas. You pour alcohol and what else do you pour into it? You pour alcohol, basically alcohol and turkeys and sweets and all sorts of crap have been going into my brain, causing it to die a long, slow, painful, temporary death. It's on its way back now, though. Don't worry. I've just drunk half a litre of stimulation drink. That's one of the best things you can do for your brain. Drink energy drink. It's very good for you. All the best surgeons go on the energy drink ads and they say, for bad brain, I recommend Dart stimulation drink. Stay sharp, keeps you strong, keeps you something or other anyway. I can't read it. What's it say? Keeps you going. Doesn't say where. Keeps you going. Doesn't say where. Although that does remind me I do need another piss less than 10 minutes after the previous one. At least I don't need a piss before the previous one, because then we'd have a problem. But no, not necessarily. If there were mushrooms in this stimulation drink, it might be possible for me to conceive a way whereby I could have another piss prior to the previous one, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think, because I bought this in a regular bog standard local convenience store, not some underground place where they put mushrooms and everything. Although they do sell mushrooms in that shop, but you can be damn sure to Christ as hell they're not magic mushrooms. There's nothing magic about them except the way they go rotten after 2 days if you don't eat them. If you do eat them, I don't know what happens. If you eat mushrooms, do they rot as much as they do when you don't eat them? That's a worry for you, because if that's the case, then there's no point being all picky, going around going, oh, I'll only take the stuff that's not rotting from the fruit stand in the vegetable shop. I'll just take the nice fresh stuff that's not gone off. Once that's going to go off, regardless of whether you eat it or not. So a day or two from now, if you eat that today, you're going to have rotten food inside you. It's probably going to rot even more, because your insides are not refrigerated, I can tell you. No, your insides are kept at body temperature, unless there's something radically wrong with you, in which case you probably won't be eating fruit and veg off the shelves. You'll be having stuff pumped into you through an intravenous tube. They'll stick a catheter in you and I'll tell you, it won't be mushrooms they'll be pumping into you. It'll be some other crap, but not real crap. Not as far as I know anyway. I'm not qualified to say, although maybe if I drink any more of this stimulation drink, I'll develop the qualifications to say, can you become a qualified medic by drinking enough stimulation drink to stimulate? Because they say if you do the complex Irish Times crossword enough, it trains your brain, and they have games that they say can train your brain. So surely I can improve my brain by drinking Dart stimulation drink every day, and it'll get to the point where I can become a qualified medic just from consuming it. I suppose they probably make you do tests. I suppose that's fair enough. You have to certify these people before you let them operate on people's brains, but I wouldn't want to operate on them. I'd rather do something more sophisticated than brain surgery. I'd rather cure someone's brain without touching it, like the way Uri Geller does. I'd wave my hands around a bit and say, you are feeling sleepy, and they'd say, Christ I am feeling sleepy. How do you know? And you say, because I've just made you sleepy. That was my doing. Don't take credit for the sleepiness that I put into you. That wasn't your doing. I'm going to leave the room now, and you see if you can go asleep without me doing anything. And you leave the room, and sure enough, nothing happens. They stay wide awake with their eyes wide open, and then you'll come back in and they'll congratulate you. They'll say, "Sir, that's amazing. You're a fantastic doctor." And you'll say, I know. Modesty forbids, though. Although it doesn't really. Modesty doesn't forbid anything. Modesty is not a fucking... it's not a freaking... religion, or maybe it is there's probably religions that are all in favour of modesty. They say, everybody who joins our church has to be modest. It's one of the top 3 commandments of our religion. Be modest, be good at stuff, but be modest about it. In fact, be so modest about it that you do it badly. Do everything less well than you can, just to make sure you're being modest and not showing off. In fact, use your abilities as less as possible. Is that a phrase? As less as possible. Use your abilities. Use your God-given abilities as little as possible. That's the way to be modest. We'll be anyway. Hello and welcome to the show. 2 cats walk into a bar. One of the cats goes straight up to the bar counter and says, "Hello, can I have a pint of your finest Guinness, please?" And the man behind the bar says, "Certainly, sir. We can have the head off a pint of Guinness, but you can't have the Guinness itself because you're a cat." And the cat says, "Surely the Guinness itself is an integral part of the pint of Guinness." And the man behind the bar says, "Indeed it is. You're right about that. That's why I bring it up. I'm required by law to bring it up under consumer law. I can't just pass off a head of Guinness on its own as a pint of Guinness. I have to tell you that I'm not giving you a pint of Guinness and I'm just giving you the head." And the cat says, "That sounds vulgar, if you don't mind me saying so." And the man behind the bar says, "Well, any cat who can notice something as grown up and vulgar as that in a simple, innocent discussion about the head of a pint of Guinness is probably old enough to be drinking Guinness. So I take that back. Here's a proper pint of Guinness for you." And the cat says, "You're hereby under arrest. I'm an undercover police officer. I'm going around doing checks on the likes of you, going around selling pints of Guinness to... you're supposed to check by ID, not check whether I understand a vulgar reference, for Christ's sake. What the hell is wrong with you people? What the hell is wrong with you people? You spent 18 years learning the bar trade and you still can't figure out properly whether or not you're supposed to give a pint of Guinness to a cat. It's not that complicated, you know. All you have to do is have a look at the customer and think, is that a cat? And if the answer is yes, then you say, no, I can't sell you a pint of Guinness. And if the answer is no, then check whether it's an underage human. And you do that by asking for identification. Or else you could just start with the identification thing. If someone comes in and you can't be arsed to figure out whether it's a cat or a human, just ask them for species identification, if such a thing exists. It probably doesn't now, come to think of it. So now that I look at your situation, to give you credit, it's far more complicated than I'd initially assessed. So I suppose in a way you have a point there, except you don't anymore because you're not allowed to serve pints because I'm taking your license away. Ho, 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 ho. And the man behind the bar says, is this not called trickery or something? You trying to con me into thinking you're a cat or something and trying to... that's what they do to get... That's what they do to catch prostitutes, isn't it? And the man in front of the bar says, I'm pretty sure they don't disguise themselves as cats and go up and ask for a pint of Guinness in order to detect the prostitute. And the man behind the bar says, now that you put it that way, I suppose. So do I get executed now or what? And the man in front of the bar says, not at all, sir. The police and judiciary system are far more modern and open-minded nowadays. No, you get be carted off to prison. You get shoved into the drunk tank. We shove you into the drunk tank for a couple of days. And then we'll haul you up in front of the judge, and the judge will say, "What did you do?" And you tell the judge what you did, and then he'll make a judgment. He'll make a judgment. It's his call. That's why they call him the judge. He makes a judgment. He'll judge the living daylights out of you, and then you'll probably be sent off to prison, or else you'll be let go, depending on what judgment he makes. That's about it. That's pretty much what's going to... You're seeing it happen on every television procedural crime drama ever. You know how it works. You go up in front of the judge, and the judge says, "Everybody now lower your heads," and you lower your head, unless your head is already down as far as it can go. If you're some weird creature that has its head down low, maybe for example an ostrich, and you got your head buried in the sand, why would there be sand in the court? I suppose in case someone brings in their cat and it needs to have a crop, in which case you probably wouldn't want to bury your head in that sand. Oh no, because it's already other stuff maybe buried in that sand. It might be unappetizing. Not that you're there to have a nice treat. You're not there to find something nice to eat in the sand. So if I were you, I'd just stand there and listen and do what you're told. And the man behind the bar says, fair enough. So do I have to come with you now and close down this establishment? And the man in front of the bar, whatever I said he was, says, yes, you do. Close your hole down. Shut it down. Just as Gordon Ramsay says, shut it down. We're shutting it down for the night. Everybody out. This fella was caught allegedly selling me a pint of Guinness while I was in the guise of a cat. Oh, wait a minute. I just realised I'm not a cat, so that's not illegal then, is it? So I can't arrest you for that. Ignore my previous instruction. Refrain from shutting it down unless you want to. You're free to shut it down if you want to, but I'm saying you don't have to. I'm not shutting you down. I'm not the Gordon Ramsay of this establishment tonight. Another night when I find you doing something illegal, then there might be. But for now, no. Your arse is being saved, and you live to fly another day. Isn't it absolutely fucking fantastic? Hello.
You're listening to
the Into Your Head podcast
from Ireland with your humble proprietor, Neil.
Follow Neil at twitter.com/intoyourheadpod and pretend to like him at facebook.com/intoyourheadpodcast.
Hello, this is J. Edgar Casey, and whenever I am listening to fine podcasts, I tune into the Into Your Head program because it's very clean.
Matchstick Cats! Matchstick Cats! Matchstick Cats! Matchstick Cats and stuff!
Are you a cat? Or do you know somebody who might be? Then tell yourself about Matchstick Cats, Neil's webcomic. Brand new episodes at intoyourhead.com.
intoyourhead.com.
Just realised that this episode of the Into Your Head temporarily daily Christmas show is scheduled to come out on New Year's Eve. The eve of the new year. This whole year, though, is being the eve of the next year, hasn't it? Surely to Christ. 2013, all of 2013 has been the eve of 2014. But no, I'm not pretending to be stupid or anything. I know damn well what they mean. They mean it's the eve of the New Year's Day of the next year. I suppose that's what work. It's supposed to be more complicated if New Year's Day was celebrated on a different day of the year, like the Chinese do. The Chinese celebrate their New Year's Day on something like the 15th of September or something. So the eve of their New Year is rather complicated because they have to celebrate that on the 14th of September, which means it's already 9 months into the new year. Fucking ridiculous. So no, it's best to celebrate your New Year on the first day of the year, and then you can call the previous day New Year's Eve without it being part of that year. It can be part of the separate. You say you kill two birds with one stone, basically. You celebrate the eve of the New Year's Day, and you celebrate the ending of the previous year. You say the previous year is being over, done with, and dusted and out, and we've already got another year lined up to start at exactly midnight. So it's like when you have 2 trains running. You just pay. Although with trains, you'd keep them a couple of minutes apart. Even at rush hour and the commuter trains, you'd at least keep them 2 minutes apart at least. You don't be running them. You won't be running one right up against the other. Although I suppose at midnight it doesn't matter because nobody else is around. Nobody's going to notice. Nobody's going to be standing round on the tracks. Either way, you don't have people standing on railway tracks anyway normally, except at a level crossing, and in that case the gates would be up and any trains coming would have been signalled to stop. A signal would say stop, stop, stop. You're not allowed to go. You've two options here. One is to stop and one is to go. There's a third one as well, and that's to not go. But that's pretty much the same as stop. If you're already stopped, your options are to either go or not go. If you're not already stopped, your options are to go or stop. So I suppose that's why there's 3 lights. I don't drive, so I don't understand these systems. So I presume that's why there's 3 lights. One says the 3 lights on a traffic light. One would be to go. That's the green one. The orange one presumably is to stop if you're already going, and the red one is to not go if you're already stopped, which I suppose is the same as stopped. You could have 2. You could probably merge the 2 stop ones into one. It would be called don't go stroke stop. It would be the same thing. Surely it's not. It wouldn't confuse people that much, for Christ's sake. But as I say, I'm not a driver. I don't know anything about these things. I'm not the Professor Stephen Hawking of the motoring world. Not that you need to be. Although I did once drive a moped. I drove a moped into the ground. I put thousands of kilometres upon it. Drove it to my heart's content up and down the byways of this country until I stopped. I said, no more of this crap. We'll have no more of this crap go around this country. Either learn how to drive a Boeing 747 jumbo jet or you stop driving completely. There's no happy medium. And a moped, I can tell you, is not a happy medium. It's a thing that you get knocked off by other people. People who have more wheels than you think they can just push you off your bike into the ground to say, oh, you've only 2 wheels, I've 4. You're basically, you're like a 2D creature. That's why they think of motorcyclists in this country. They think motorcyclists are like, they're like you're in a 3D world, and a motorcyclist is just some being that slipped in from another dimension where it's only 2D. It's like if you see a little shadow, they say, oh, that's just someone from another dimension. We're not obliged to look out for him or her at all. They probably don't even have hims or hers there. It's probably, how could you if it's flat? If it's 2-dimensional, how could it have a sex? That'd be fucking ridiculous. Unless, of course, biology is completely different in other dimensions, which it probably is, but you can't be expected as a motorist to know about that. You're not there for your knowledge of science or physics or all that sort of thing. You're there to drive a car along the road and obey the rules of the road. I can tell you the rules of the road state all that sort of stuff about how to perceive other dimensions. There'll be a lot less people passing their driving tests, I can tell you, and the people who did will get a lot more respect. They'd say, oh, there's Professor what's his name. I believe he's got a postgraduate doctorate in how to drive within the rules of the road. He's very intelligent. Anyway, I hereby mark and celebrate and basically not ignore the fact that today's episode will fall on New Year's Eve, the last day of the year, the last day as 2013 over and done with. We play a song to bid adieu, so to speak. Adieu being the French for, I think it's the French for adios, if I remember rightly. Here we go. 2013. Farewell 2013. You were a bit of a cunt. You were a bit of a cunt. That's not very good, is it? Oh, that's negative. That's being negative. It's like being, if you get 2 negatives, it makes it positive. So we'll play it in stereo next time if we can figure out how to do so, and the 2 will cancel each other out. They'll say, you'll hear me on one side going bit of a cunt, and me on the other side going bit of a cunt. But if you listen carefully, you hear me somewhere in the middle going, 2013, you're not a cunt at all. Ignore the 2 the two constituent parts of this stereo mix and listen to the overall total effect, which is very complimentary towards the outgoing year. Not to say I want the year to come back. No, unless it means time travel has been invented, in which case that's fine. But I want control over it. I want full control over any time traveling that's going to be done, especially into 2013. Anyway, good morning.
You've been listening to Neil tell you stories. About cats, probably. Neil talks a lot about cats. Send your topic suggestions to studio@intoyourhead.com.